What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Raza podcast. As you guys already know, this podcast is sponsored by Eastside Art House. And today we have a guest who is a member at the Eastside Art House. Her name is Andrea Lopez. She's been doing a lot of community work. You can see her art all over the Inland Empire, and we're so excited for you guys to hear her story. She is a multimedia artist who specializes in murals, oil paintings, and illustration. She's an active member of her community who is dedicated to sharing her creativity with others. She passionately believes in embodying the changes she wishes to see in the world by creating purposeful art for communities that are affected by a myriad of social issues. Lopez's most recent projects include a social justice themed mural for the Moreno Valley Public Library, an interactive mural for Ontario Museum of History and Art of Healing exhibition, and a residential mural for Eslabon Armado, a regional Mexican music group. She also had vibrancy to the facades of locally owned businesses and collaborated with prominent organizations such as the Riverside Community Health Foundation. Yeah. You are a decorated woman.
That was a mouthful.
That was a lot because you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
So there was a couple things at the end there, a couple of your projects there. Which ones are you working on right now?
So I just finished the Eslabon Armado mural. That one I'm actually adding to. I did like this mural that kind of honored their family and certain loved ones that had passed away, as well as a group, and trying to like protect them. So they want to add like a ceiling to that mural. So I'm going to paint some clouds, which has been my thing recently.
And where's that location at?
That's actually in Apple Valley, so about an hour from here.
And the business is, what is it exactly that you're painting for? It's for the family, or is it?
Yeah, it's for the family. Eslabon Armado is like a regional Mexican group, and their mom is actually their manager. So it's a mural that the mom commissioned me to do for their family.
Cool.
Yeah.
And did she reach out to you first, or how'd that happen?
It's a funny story. So I'm actually friends with the lead singer's girlfriend.
Okay.
So I've known her since high school. We weren't super close in high school, but, you know, we followed each other on Instagram, and I'm sure she saw, like, art that I was doing, things I had been posting, and her suegra was looking for a muralist, so they reached out to me because she showed her some of my work, and she really liked what I did, and that's kind of how it got started.
That's pretty cool. So can people swing by, or how does that work?
Not really.
Because you're going to get a lot of fans on this, and they're all going to want to see your art after they finish watching this. So how are they going to be able to see that?
So you can look at my art on Instagram. That mural specifically is a residential mural. It's in their home, so I wouldn't recommend, you know, just showing up and being like...
I might. I just might. Who knows?
You're like, hey.
No, I won't. I'm just kidding.
But I have, you know, other more public murals that people can go take a look at, or... All my work is on my
Moreno
Instagram.
Valley Public Library was one of them?
Yeah. Yeah, that one I did a few months ago, and that one's at the Moreno Valley Public Library on Alessandro. You can see it, you know, driving past, or you can go and visit the library. They're actually adding more murals to that library, so that'd be a fun reason to go, like, check out maybe mine and then whatever else is going on there.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Another member, she's doing a mural currently there, too. So.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
So if you're not doing murals or you're not painting somebody's art, where are you practicing your art other than outside when you're doing work?
Usually at the studio, our studio, Eastside Art House.
Shout out Eastside Art House.
Shout out Eastside Art House. Yeah, that's where I go. And if I don't have like a specific commission or project going on, I'll work on my own personal projects and go and practice work there or doodle. I like to also do a lot of like plein air paintings. So just going to a pretty area with a nice scenery and painting what I see.
Yeah. And for the people that don't know, what is the Eastside Art House?
The Eastside Art House is a collective art studio. There's about 20 members, I believe. And it's just a space where local artists can go and have a space to create art. It's really fun because, you get to make art friends that are doing the same thing as you. And that way you get so many connections, resources, opportunities. And then it's just like fun vibes because like everyone's so friendly. We all get along with each other and we're all just doing what we love, making art. So,
and how'd you get there? Like, how'd you end up at the Eastside Art House?
So I remember when I had moved back to California because I lived in Georgia for 4 years. And then I moved back to California. And at the time...
Georgia?
Yeah.
I just registered.
Georgia, the state, not the country. But yeah, so I was like on the opposite side of the country. And then I moved back and I was kind of like indecisive on what I wanted to do with my life. I knew I wanted to do something creative, something artistic. At the time I had just finished like my business degree in marketing and graphic design.
So did you go to school in Georgia?
I finished school in Georgia.
Oh, okay, just 4 years, it kind of adds up.
Yeah, I actually got 2 years, like my associate's degree.
Okay.
But it took me like 4 years
That's pretty
to
cool.
get it.
So you finished it in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
You finished your education. You came back to California.
Yeah.
And that's when you hit the ground running with art? Or was there something in between there?
Yeah, I mean, that's like summing it up, but it was like a lot more than that. I was applying to a lot of different like jobs, like graphic design, marketing, interior design. And one day I was at a coffee shop, Conjuring Coffee. I don't know if you've been there.
I've been there. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
So I was there like research. I don't know what I was doing there. I don't remember. But I remember like leaving and I went out. I parked like behind the building and I saw a mural there and I'm like, you know what? Like I had painted 2 murals before that, but they were kind of like nothing like professional. They were just like people that let me paint their walls. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's something I want to do. So I like looked up the girl, the person's Instagram that was like at the bottom of their mural. And, it was Keely Berry Art. Shout out to Keely.
Shout out.
She's actually not a member anymore, but makes me sad. But yeah, so I found her Instagram. I saw that she was like part of a studio and I was like, oh, what is that? It said Eastside Art House. So I clicked on it and then I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. It's like a collective, like co-working art space, which is awesome because at the time I was also looking for like art studios, like personal ones, but they're so expensive. And then I also thought like, I'm not going to get inspired, like just alone. Like I need something, So I thought that was really cool. And I did some research on it and I like made a little, on their website, they have like a schedule, like a meeting and stuff to go visit. And so I did all that and, I went to the Eastside Art House and I met Juan, but it kind of happened.
Shout out.
Met Juan. Yeah. But I didn't see his email. Apparently he told me like, oh, can we just have like a phone call? And I actually like showed up. I was, oh, sorry, I'm here. And then he kind of gave me like the whole spiel of the studio and like, what's it about? He asked me what I was like interested in doing. And I told him like, yeah, I want to sign up. And he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I'm sure. And yeah, that's how it happened.
So you're at the Eastside Art House since then. When did you start taking your art elsewhere? The way that you wanted to chase that mural inspiration you had at the coffee shop. When did you start acting on that for yourself?
Yeah, so in our conversation, like Juan and I's conversation, when he was asking me like what kind of art I'm interested in doing, what do I want to do? And I told him I was really interested in doing murals because that's like, I don't know, I always thought murals were cool because you leave like your imprint on like a big wall. Like, I don't know, I think it's
like legacy.
Yeah. And so that's always something I wanted to do. But I also told him that I wanted it to be like, in service to the community, like for a greater good. So it was a lot of help from him. he kind of helped me like get on his projects. I was learning like the back end of the murals, doing a lot of assistant work, and then started finding like my own gigs as well, and he would help me find some. So it was kind of that first, is like learning how other muralists were doing what they do, and then eventually being like sure enough to take on my own gigs and stuff.
You mean like sure enough, like confident in your own work?
Yeah.
Are you like shy with your work? Yeah, I feel like a lot of artists feel that way.
Yeah.
And most people wouldn't think so, because when we see it, we're like, that's like the best thing I've ever seen. But the artist themselves is always criticizing themselves harshly sometimes. Do you feel like you suffer with that sometimes?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I'm getting better at it, but at first I had a lot of like self-doubt, and like I wasn't super confident in my work. And I think it just comes from like you see other artists and how far like they've gotten, how talented and skilled they are, and you're like, wow, like I don't even know how to get there and stuff. And you know, you just doubt your own ability, but I think just putting in the work and action and like consistency is what really builds that confidence. And like obviously when you get good feedback, like how your work is received, that helps a lot. And you know, even now, like I'll still like question my work, but it's just, I think it just happens when you're so like you're just used to your work, and you're like, oh, like this is what I do. But yeah.
So what was your first piece of art that you booked and that was completely yours, and just the first thing on your portfolio that you would put on as an artist?
Like professionally?
Professionally, yeah.
Okay. I guess the mobile mural was like my first big like professional deal, because I was like going like it was with the city, so it was like a whole application process. Actually, with that one, it was you apply, but they get to choose like who the winner is of the mural. So
a bidding process.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. So it was scary because like you're not guaranteed anything. Like it's a lot of fronting the work. You had to like have a design ready, your portfolio, a lot of like previous work and stuff. So, you know, and also like, I don't know, it was pretty intimidating at first, but I like took a shot on myself. I applied, I did it, and then I got chosen, which was like crazy. And it was also like one of the first murals through the Creative Corps program and the Moreno Valley Mural Project. So that was really exciting, because at the end, once the mural was finished, there was like a whole like ceremony type thing. So it just felt very like rewarding at the end. And yeah, I'm really. The
ceremony was for the artists that did the mural, or how did that work?
Yeah, it was a ceremony, like mural dedication for the mural itself, and then also the artist, and then also the Moreno Valley Mural Project itself. It was just like celebrating like the whole project itself.
Oh, that's pretty fancy.
Yeah.
It must have felt really good
cool,
doing that.
Yeah,
that's
the
dope.
mayor was there, city people, a lot of my family was there. It was nice. Yeah.
And what would you say is your favorite work of art? It could be from when you were a kid. It could be from now. Like any time. Like something that you always look back and you're like, this is why I love art.
Oof. That's hard.
Okay, you can choose two.
My favorite work of art. Okay, so I remember when I was 10 or 12, I painted a mural in my room with my aunt, and it was like a big butterfly and like flowers and stuff. But I think that was like the first time I was like, oh my God, like this is so cool. I'm painting like my wall. And it honestly came out really good.
Did you notice right away? Were you like, oh, I'm pretty good at this?
Yeah. Low key, I was like, dang, like I have like the shading and like highlights down. Like I feel like I didn't know like the terminology at the time, but I was like, oh, this is fun. And I think it looks cool. But yeah. And then another one, I'd say a recent work. It's like it's called A Skating Feeling. It's just a girl red hair and butterfly wings, and she's like skating off into the clouds. And it kind of just is like, I don't know, an embodiment of me. Like, I just feel so like free and fun, like skating. I really like roller skating.
Which makes sense because there's a lot of clouds in your work.
I love painting clouds. It's like so crazy that I've been getting so much like cloud work. Yeah.
You're just manifesting it.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. It's cool.
Okay, Andrea. So we learned a little bit about your journey to get here, but now we want to know more about you, your introduction to art. So was it your family that introduced you to art, or how'd you get started there?
Yeah, I would say I have like a few, not artists in my family, because none of them like really pursued it, but like a lot of like talented people in my family. My dad actually studied architecture in college. So I remember like as a kid, he had like his little like tube with his blueprints and like his drawings and stuff. So I would always like look at those and be so amazed of like the art that he made. I remember like every Christmas I would ask for like art supplies and stuff. But yeah, I would say my family introduced me to art. And I think just like as a kid, I always just had like this draw to it. And I was always like doodling or drawing or making something. Yeah.
I cannot draw. I literally cannot draw. I can't even cut a piece of paper straight.
Oh my God.
Like, it's crazy. Yeah. Would you say like kind of a stereotype where it's like your art side of the brain and you don't really like the math side?
No, actually, I feel like I like using both sides of my brain.
Interesting.
Like, yeah.
Because do you have to use it often, like with the type of work that you're doing on these murals?
Yes, I'd say so. Like, I don't like consciously like know that I'm using it, but I think that I do because it's a lot of like math when it comes to like the dimensions and like patterns and just shapes and stuff. And I don't know. I remember as a kid taking like, I forgot what test it was, but like the one where they test, I don't know if it's your IQ test, but like the one where they see if like you're good at seeing patterns.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that. So like,
yeah.
I was in like the advanced classes because I did so good on that, but it was just like pattern recognition, shapes. Like I think that side of my brain always like worked pretty well. Yeah.
And that was when you were a kid?
Mm-hmm.
So what was that like growing up? Did you grow up here? Where'd you grow up? And
I grew up in Moreno Valley. I went to Hendrick Ranch Elementary School. Yeah. I lived like pretty close to school. I would walk with my mom to school in the mornings.
Were you always out in Moreno Valley?
Yeah, like always. Wait, out where?
In Moreno Valley?
Like just living there?
Yeah, just living there.
Yeah, I lived there for 15 years in the same house. And then I lived there till the end of high school. So after high school, that's when my family decided to move out to Georgia, kind of like cost of living reasons. And I didn't want to go. I was like, what's in Georgia? Like,
How old were you at that point?
I was 18, so I had just graduated. So I actually stayed when my family moved out to Georgia. I went.
Really?
Yeah, I went to, because I was like so into school, like getting good grades, trying to get into like a good college. Like that was really like, I don't know, I felt that pressure. So I ended up going to UCSD, so University of California, San Diego. And my family moved out to Georgia, but I ended up not liking the school, so then I moved out with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you said this pressure, like what did you mean by that?
I think just the pressure to like make my parents' sacrifice worth it. Like I'm also the oldest of 5 kids, so I don't know, I guess there's this like stereotype that they're like the overachievers or whatever. I was
the oldest daughter?
Yeah.
100% agree. I'm the oldest of 3. Not 5. That's crazy responsibility. 3 is enough. But I get what you mean. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, you get that pressure of like, you have to be the example. And then I was like first gen. So, it was just a lot of responsibility when it came to like wanting to get good grades and get into the best school so I can like create a better life for like my family in the future.
So you were first gen. So your parents came here.
From Mexico. My dad, he actually was born in Santa Monica, California, but I don't know, it was like during a time where like his parents were out here like visiting, and then they moved back to Mexico. But my parents are actually both from like the same pueblito in Jalisco.
Oh, okay.
Mexico.
So your family's from Jalisco, both sides?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. They're like, their ranchos are like across the street from each other.
Is that how they met?
Kinda, yeah. Like their family knew each other. My family's pretty close. Like, yeah. Like actually, two of my dad's sisters married two of my mom's brothers.
Two of your dad's. Okay. You know what? I know a story very similar to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, I have like cousins from like both sides. But yeah, like I always wanted to do better for them. Also set example for like my brothers and sisters. Yeah. And I don't know. I think I just always kind of wanted to be excellent in a way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just
break that statistic too. You know, that's you carry without wanting to, but you kind of just carry that.
Exactly. Yeah. I never wanted to be like, felt like I was like limited, like, oh, because I'm a woman, I can't do this. Because I'm Latina, I can't do this. Because XYZ, like, it's not what you're supposed to do. Like, I always like,
you know what they say? Si se puede, mija.
Exactly.
That's basically running through your brain. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you ever go back to Jalisco at any point? Like, are you familiar there, or how'd that work out?
Yeah. Growing up, we would go like maybe every 2 years to visit family. And then like in high school, I think money got a little tighter, so we wouldn't go as often. We were a big family, so it was kind of hard. We'd always drive there to save money. And then after a few years after high school, like when I was in Georgia, I did some solo traveling too. So I went and visited more places, not just like where my family's from. Like I was like traveling in Guadalajara, and then I visited like other parts of Mexico, Oaxaca, Chiapas.
Shout out Oaxaca. That's where my mom's from.
Really?
Yeah.
I did a mural there in
really?
Oaxaca.
No way. You're going to have to send it to me later for sure. I'm going
to. It's like a...
Maybe I've seen it, which is crazy. Well, depends on how recently you did it though.
It was like one of my first ones. It was about 3 years now, I'd say 2-3 years.
No, I'm just shy of that. I haven't been there. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was in a hostel that I was volunteering at, so it's not like seen from like
the outside. But that's dope. I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask if where you've traveled, where you've been, if you bring that back home when you do your art, and if you know of an example off the top of your head that we can see that in.
Yeah, I love traveling. I love like seeing new places. I definitely have like an adventurous side to me. Is it brought out in my work? I don't know. I do a lot of like landscapes, and I like going and like painting and like what I see and stuff. But I wouldn't like in my recent work, it's kind of tied more to like the community and like just like things that are relevant in my life now. But that's actually something I plan on doing is kind of like a project that involves...
It's in the works then.
Yeah.
Okay, so that answer's in the works. That's what's going on here. Okay.
Yeah.
You got to keep up with her art if you want to see it.
Exactly, yes.
Well, that's cool. Where have you been where you're like, the art here is just nothing I've ever seen before?
Oh my God, Oaxaca.
Yeah. What about the food?
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, it was... I mean, there's like this barrio... I think it's called Halatlaco, something.
You're probably saying it right.
It's hard to pronounce, but there's like murals like everywhere. It's so colorful. And I think all over Mexico, really, there's a lot of like... I haven't traveled anywhere but the states in Mexico, so that's all I can like think of. But I would say like the most colorful like city that I've been to is definitely Oaxaca. And it's just so rich in like culture, food, everything. I'm obsessed. Like I love
obsessed
Oaxaca.
too. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool.
So kind of coming back to your family, I know we mentioned a little bit earlier today that you spent some time in TJ. Is that true, or how did that happen? And
yeah, so I was born in Tijuana. At the time, my dad was trying to like fix my mom's papers, and she couldn't come into the States because she had like come before illegally, but then they were like trying to get her citizen, not her, I think just her green card, and that's when she had me, when she was in Tijuana. Okay. But I think they ended up like bringing me over when I was like 3 months old. I actually have like a worker's permit, and it's like my baby picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it's weird because like my dad, he was born in like here, so I should have gotten citizenship, but there was like some miscommunication, so I was like a resident most of my life, and then I.
Do you think that brought on some hardships?
Not really. Like growing up, there's nothing I couldn't do. Like, I didn't notice it. I think maybe like if I stayed a resident, I would have noticed. But no, when I was like 12, my mom became a citizen, and so did I. And it was really simple. Like I didn't have to take any test or anything. Like,
oh, really? That's cool.
No, yeah. I think under the age of 18, you get it through your parents. Like it's like
because that book is like thick.
Yeah, I helped my mom study, but no, I didn't. That would have been crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what part of your childhood do you think you carry on still in your art, or do you feel that anything from your childhood stands out to why you became an artist when you grew up?
I guess like growing up, I always had a very like big imagination. Like I would just go outside and play and do a bunch. I also loved like playing like with my Barbies or like just dressing up and stuff. And I always had that creative side of me that I loved, and I loved creating as a kid. And I never wanted to give that up. Like I never wanted to give up that play and that creative side of me where I just like let my imagination run free and like kind of just made whatever came to mind. So it was just like that, like honoring that kid. But I don't think any like, cause you know, you're growing and evolving, and I just make work that represents me at the time.
If there's any younger artists watching right now, what would you give them as a piece of advice to pursue their dream?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say just believe in yourself. I mean, everyone says that. That's so cliche. But, like, that's the truth. Like, just keep doing, like, following your passion, that call. Like, listen to that inner voice that's telling you to create. Never, like, stop letting your imagination run wild. And if it's something you really want to do, just, like, keep practicing, keep getting better, ask for help, like, opportunities, take classes. I don't know. I think just never give up on yourself, really.
I mean, it might sound cliche, but it's true. You got to believe in yourself because I said so and Andrea said so.
Yes.
So now you have to do it. Peer pressure, guys.
It's a must.
Andrea, go ahead. Plug your work in. How can people keep in touch with you and contact with all your work?
Yeah, so you guys can go ahead and follow me on my Instagram. It's art.by.Andrea Lopez. I post everything that I got going on there, all my projects. You guys can also go and visit the Ontario Museum of History and Art. There's an art exhibition there that I did some work on. It's from now until October 20th. And, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time and your art.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you guys again for tuning in. That was Andrea Lopez, local community artist. And on that note, we want to announce our next podcast. It is going to be with someone super special. It's somebody that's involved with the film, the Raza film. He is the one, he is the only, he is the director, Javier. So we can't wait to have him soon. And I'm sure by now you're wondering, what are you wearing? What shirt you got on? What's going on with that? Why do you look so good? Why do I look so good? Maybe it's because I have the first official Raza t-shirt that you can buy down in the description below. Just click that link. It'll take you to buy this shirt and you can look as good as me.